Look at the time, where does it go? So much to craft, so much to sew. Time is ticking, there's a buzz in the air. Need to get ready, no time to spare.
Good morning, gifted crafters. It's crafting time.
Today is going to be that day. Gonna have things go my way. Embroidering fashion that sells. Using all my knowledge, I will excel. Stitch by stitch, let color shine bright. Turning a blank canvas into art feels right. Time is flying by and this is my art. With embroidery machines, I'm doing my part. I search the web for a magical design. Looking high and low as I sip on my wine. Metallic thread, watch it shimmer and shine. I transform my blanks into a one-of-a-kind. Stitch by stitch, let color shine bright. Turning a blank canvas into art feels right. Time is flying by and this is my art. With embroidery machines, I'm doing my part.
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Good morning, Gifted Crafters, and welcome back to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Good morning out there. I see people from all over the place. We've got people from Michigan. We've got Virginia. Let's see. Oh, my sister is back from New York, and she's back in Virginia now. So good morning. We've got people from Maryland. Hello. Good morning. There's my friends from Canada. Good morning out there. Awesome. Yeah, some people are saying steamy Maryland. Yeah, it's pretty hot out there. I know it's pretty hot down here too, but I think you guys got it even hotter than we do. We are about in the 90s. We're running about 92 degrees down here in Miami. So it's pretty hot and very humid outside. But man, 105 temperatures up there up north. That's crazy. That's just really crazy. All right, we've got people from Ohio as well. Good morning. All righty, I think you guys are chatting away. We are just had a little bit of a technical difficulties, but we got everything going back again. We'll kind of see how it goes because, you know, it's live, so you never know. All righty, so if you guys are ready, it is, yes, Wacky Wednesday. It is hump day. Yes, it's hump day. Some people call it Wacky Wednesday. It is that time of the day, and we are almost there. We're halfway there through the week, so we're going to pull through and make it all the way, right? Awesome. Good morning from San Antonio. All righty, Louisiana, good morning. Okay, so if you guys have your little drinks ready, go ahead and grab it if you can, because there's no judgment here. Just whatever it is that you have in the morning, grab your little cup of whatever it is, coffee, tea, soda, water, who knows what it is. Just go ahead and let's make that toast, and let's hope we have a fantastic day. So I'm going to grab a little sip myself. Okay. Ooh, that felt good. Going down. Nice ice cold water. Yes, good morning from Atlanta. Awesome. Okay, so today's going to be a fun day. We're going to be doing some really fun things today. We're continuing on our journey on the Ho 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 pillow wrap and cover kit for those of you who've been following along. Now, if you're tuning in for the first time, I'll introduce myself. My name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and we just do this channel to talk about all kinds of crafty things, and we share all kinds of tips, tricks, and ideas. So jump into the chat, because we have a fantastic community out there that will help you out for anything that you need, and we just like to share all kinds of tips. So if you have a little Etsy shop, or maybe a craft show coming up, or maybe you're just looking for a quick little gift, perfect little spot for you. Just go ahead and say hello, because we'd love to have you active in the channel. Alrighty, so with this pillowcase, we have already gone ahead and done the pillow itself, which started off as a tea towel. It is now a little pillow, and we are working on the pillow wrap. And we talked about a little bit about the wrap itself and how it comes in the package and how it may not be cut to size and how you have to kind of check it. And I'll give you a recap on where we were and what I did last night. And then today we're going to focus on the actual applique using our scan and cut, because we're going to turn this paper applique into an embroidery file, and we're going to embroider it on our sewing machines. But I had a few difficulties with that, and we'll get to all of that in a few. So let me just put this down here, because we've got some stuff to do. I know that you guys are just waiting for your snacks, and you haven't even gotten that yet. So go ahead, grab your drink, and let me let you grab your snacks. We've got to do our little exercise and go to our little cart today. So let's go ahead and do that. So I think the cart, here it is. It's all ready to go. And guys, we've got something special today, because the cart just looks like it's a little wonky today, but it's okay. I think we've got everything that you're going to need on that. So let's go ahead and grab your snacks, coffee, tea, soda, water, whatever it is. The cart is getting a little wonky. We may have to do something about that. Maybe we'll look at that tomorrow. Who knows? But it's got the little snacks on there. So of course we've got the healthy stuff in there too. You've got your carrots and your kale. So go ahead and get those. So once you have all your snacks and your drinks and you're ready to go, make sure you're in your cozy spot, because we've got a lot to talk about today. All right, yay, coffee, yay. Everyone's getting their little snacks. Awesome. I'm glad you got your snacks. Okay, so now we are gonna kind of head over to some of the stuff that I'm gonna show you here. So this is where we were yesterday. So we've already taken our tea towel and we've made it into this pillow casing. Okay, let me just move my laptop just a bit so you can see a little bit here. There we go. So here's the pillow casing. We've got the Velcro in place, and this is ready to go. Okay, so just ready to put the pillow inside. So this is kind of the base of the project. Once you've got this in place, and this was super easy to do, then you're going to work on the pillow wrap. And so the pattern itself provided you with the fabric, which is that background fabric here. Okay, and then all the applique pieces and the embellishments as well. It also gave you a fusible foam, right? And we talked about how this foam was completely wonky. I can tell you that it took a couple of times for me to really straighten this piece out. This 10-inch piece is really spot on. I really didn't have to do too much to kind of trim that a little bit. It was pretty much spot on this way. Where it was really wonky was on this really long side right here. There was a lot of little dips and valleys that were going around here. So it was kind of like curvy on the edge. The problem was that since this is 10 inches, you know, cutting too much into this was really gonna kind of distort the whole project. So I tried to keep it at the 10 inches here and just tried to straighten out all the curves that were going on. So this is the result of that, and I got pretty close. There's a few little dips here and there, but it's not too bad. Like, I think you can see a little bit of one. Where is it? I think it's around here. It's a tiny bit of a curve. So it's little bit, but I couldn't cut it because if I try to cut it to size, I will lose a little bit of inches on the edges here, and I didn't want to do that. So I tried to straighten it out as much as I could, and it's not too bad. I'm not too worried about it. And then what I did is once I've gotten that all straightened up, of course, I fused my fabric to the interface. It's a one-sided fusible, so it's now fused to the foam. And so then what I did here is I went ahead and I folded this, and I just kind of lined this up, make sure my edges are together here. And then I just took a little marking pen and I went ahead and marked a little piece right here. And then I kind of turned it over and did the same thing on the other side and marked it over here as well. Just basically marking the center. That's really what we're doing. We're just trying to find the center of all this. And so now when you open it up, you're going to see my little markings here and here. So we know where our center point is. And that's just going to allow us to be able to put the applique right in the center, because that's where we want it to be, because this is going to wrap around the pillow. And you want to have that applique sitting right in the middle. And then once it's wrapped up, then, you know, you'll have that nice and in place. And so these will be your little guidelines to put that there. So take your time making sure that you're marking that center point nice and clearly. I also kind of went on the side a little bit and just marked a little piece of the foam, just in case, because this is such a dark fabric. If you have a little chalk, you could do it that way too, but I just went ahead and used this marking pen. And so I did it here, and it's got this sky blue color, but I'm able to see it. Maybe a little difficult for you guys to see it on the camera, but that is what it looks like there. Okay, so then once I've done that, I know that that part is ready to go. And so I was left with a little bit of fabric here. And that's just going to be an extra scrap. And then you're still going to have the rest of the pieces that we have to put together. So we'll set those over to the side, because now we're going to work on the applique itself. Okay, and before we get into all of the steps on the applique, let's go over to our crafting news, because I do have a couple of stories, and one of them I think is really amazing. And I'll go ahead and share that with you. Alrighty. Okay, so today's first story is about a woman who turned pain into purpose, and she's using something as simple as a sewing machine to do that. You can meet Joanna Dahl, who is a Navy veteran from Westminster, Maryland, and after serving on a ship overseas and living through some heartbreaking moments, she came home with carrying memories that were really heavy on her heart. So like many veterans, she struggled to find peace. But then something really beautiful happened. Her therapist suggested that she pick up a hobby, and Joanna gave sewing a try. And one stitch turned into healing and eventually a whole new mission, which was pretty cool. She now runs a shop called Sew and Sweep, and she collects old military uniforms and transforms them into homemade tote bags and bookmarks. Now, during her Sit and Sew events, veterans, Gold Star families, and community members all come together and sew, share stories, and support one another. Now, this October, Joanna Creations will be gifted to the Vietnam veterans at a special tribute. They're going to be honoring their service with love stitched in every piece, and the smallest stitch can help mend the deepest wounds. And I think that's amazing. I want to just personally thank all of those who serve, especially, our members and viewers and their families that are active in the military service. If you know someone, let us know in the chat, okay? Let us know and thank them too, okay? And just pass that along. We've got heartfelt gratitude for their service, and we really want to pass that message on to them. So it'd be really great. So if you've served or your family is serving, let us know. Type it in there. Okay, then we've got a second story, and this is another beautiful story that really touched my heart. Now, in Maryland, we've got a woman named Nancy, and she recently received a quilt from her late mother that never got finished. It was made up of hundreds of tiny fabric circles, which is kind of cool. Now, that's something that her mom started before she passed away, but thanks to a group of really kind volunteers, they are from a project that's called Loose Ends. The quilt was lovingly completed and returned to the family, which is pretty cool. Now, Loose Ends is a nationwide group. They've got over 33,000 crafters who finish projects like quilts and scarves and sweaters, and they will finish those projects that were left behind by somebody who passed away. Now, the volunteers don't even know the families personally, but they step in with their time and their talent, and they bring comfort and closure. One blanket was even finished with a heart stitched right where the loved one left it. So isn't that incredible? I think that's pretty cool. It kind of just goes to show that, using our hands, we can really help each other. And, I think that it's really nice. It's really nice to see a community kind of helping things, right? Okay, let's see. So let's see one more thing here that I have. Let's see. So if you're gonna, oh, hold on. We've got one more thing. Sorry, the Sewing and Quilting Expo. That kicks off tomorrow, July 31st through August the 2nd in Irving Convention Center in Texas. Need to remind you guys about that. It's a 3-day event. It's filled with quilting and sewing classes and shopping and all kinds of good things there. Let's see. Plus, they also have the North Texas Quilt Festival that's happening at the same time. So you guys in Texas have just amazing events going on, and they're all happening at the same time. So I hope you guys take advantage of that and are able to attend. And let us know if you do, because I want to know if you can take some pictures and stuff and send it to our way. We'd love to see that. But okay. And that's pretty much all I have in here. All right, your father and your uncles were in the Marines. Awesome, Robin. That's awesome. Carol says her Air Force veteran and your husband is too. Oh, awesome. Your son's in the Air Force. Oh, cool. Faker McFake. And let's see, we've got all kinds of veterans here. Leslie, of course, 22 years in the U.S. Army. Awesome. Hey, Leslie. We've got Flo, who's got Navy family here, 3 generations worth. Wow, that's pretty cool. Amazing. You guys are just amazing. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your service. I mean, that's really amazing. And, gosh, that's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay. All right, so we've got our food truck, we've got our crafting news done, and now I think we're ready to go ahead and dive into the project, right? All right, so first thing we're gonna do, and let me just set this over to the side. Don't need the pillow right just yet. I've got a couple of notes on here. So the pattern itself comes with two things. You've got your templates. Let me move this so you can see this a little better. You've got your templates, right? These are the templates that it comes with. And then you also have the layout here. So I like to scan both of them. I'm going to scan the layout as well as the applique pieces. And the reason I'm going to scan the layout is because the layout will allow me to put the pieces on top to make sure that I am perfectly aligned with where the stitches are supposed to go. And that's going to help me place the pieces in the right place, and also kind of put them in the right order too. And you'll see more of what I mean as we kind of go along. And the first issue that you have just looking at it is that this is a pretty large piece of paper, and the pieces here are kind of large. You've got this huge beard here that kind of takes up like half the page right here. And then you've got all these other pieces here on the side. So the first thing you've got to decide is how are you going to scan this in? Well, you've got two options that you can take. You've got a 12 by 12 inch scanning mat that you can use. Now, can you use other mats to scan them in? Absolutely. You could probably use your fabric mat or a low tack mat that is really not that sticky and scan your paper in. You can do that. People have done that, and that's fine. I prefer to use my scanning mat. I think it's a little bit better, and I like that there's this clear plastic that's on top that'll protect your paper in here and allow you to scan it. So I'm going to go ahead and I can scan this just like this, but my paper is going to kind of be sticking out on the end, and that's okay. And I'm going to show you how you can do this. If you only have a 12 by 12 inch mat, you can still do this even though the paper is longer. It's just that it's going to require you to scan it twice. So you'll have to scan it, and then you'll have to take the paper out, flip it over, and then scan it again. Okay, so that's how you can do it, and you'll have two different files to work with. But then once you get into your Canvas workspace, you can put all the pieces together, and then you're just working with what's in Canvas workspace. So you can do it with a 12 by 12 inch mat, or if you have the 12 by 24 inch mat, which is huge. Guys, this thing is pretty huge, and it's a little difficult for me to work with because it's so huge, and I've got a small space, and we've got these cameras here. So I'm not going to use the 12 by 24, although you can use this and just kind of scan it once with this one time and not have to have multiple files. So if you have it, you can use it, but I'm going to use the 12 by 12 inch mat because it's a little bit easier, because this is just way too big. And on top of that, it's just too hard for me to move around with that thing here. But it's a really nice mat to have. So if you have the space, go ahead and use that. But we're going to use this one here, because most people, when they buy it, they always buy this one, and they don't think about buying the 24 inch mat. So most people, I think, have the 12 by 12. So we're going to use that, and I'm going to slip that underneath here. Okay. Now remember, we are taking a paper pattern. I'm scanning it into our scan and cut. So let's turn on my scan and cut. I may need to adjust the camera a little bit. Let me open this up here. Let's see here. Okay, let me see if I can. Oh, give me 1 second, guys, because it looks like the camera froze up on us. Actually, I'm not cutting today, so. Okay. Now, okay, so hubby's kind of messing with the camera a little bit. Seems like it doesn't want to connect, and it's starting to kind of act up on us. So let's just kind of talk through this a little bit as he works through that. So what we're going to end up doing here is we're going to kind of do the steps to go ahead and load the scanning mat, and then we're going to go ahead and scan it, and I'm going to be scanning it to my USB. There's several different options that you can do on the scan and cut. You can save it on your USB, or you can send it directly to the Canvas workspace. But that's, you know, it's kind of your preference of what you prefer to do. Some people prefer to do it on a USB, and some people, if you have that wireless set up, then you can go ahead and you can set it up into your Canvas workspace. I think that kind of helps out a little bit. Now, when you flip your paper over, you have to be careful because you're now putting it in upside down. You may need to mirror it. So you have to look at these kinds of things too. So always check when you're doing something. You may want to have the layout in front of you just to make sure that your pieces are going in the right way. So just make sure that you do that as you move around. Okay, I think we are good. Let me just adjust here a little bit. Let's see. Well, I think that's as good as we're going to get. Let's see here. Let's see. Nope. Nope. Let's see if we can get this going. For right now, looks like the camera. Okay, I think we got it. Yeah, we go. This is probably as best as we're going to get right now. Camera's kind of acting up a little funny today. I think it's mad at us because we haven't used it in a while. So I'm going to go ahead and wake up the machine here. Alrighty. So it's ready to go. So I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and load my mat. So I'm going to hit my load mat button and let it kind of drag it in. There we go. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to hit the scan. And then you're going to do scan to cut data. Now, even though, oh, it froze up again. Well, I'll talk you through it. So even though we are not cutting our pieces, our applique pieces, right? We're not going to be cutting them because the actual kit came with the applique pieces. And so because it comes with the applique pieces already cut up, you don't need to cut them. However, if you're going to do multiples of this project, maybe you want to use your own fabric, then of course you're going to be able to cut them with your machine. But since these are already cut up, I'm not going to be cutting them. I'm just going to be scanning them and sending them over to my Canvas workspace. Okay, I think we're good again. All right, so let's give this another try. So we're going to go ahead and do scan to cut data. And then you're going to just check your scan area. Your scan area says 12 by 12, and you've got recognition mode. I'm going to go ahead and hit that wrench just to show you those options. Now, if you are using the 12 by 24 inch mat, this is where you would set that. I have it set at 12 by 12, but you can see here, if you click on it, you have all your different options on here, and you can kind of go down and see all the options that you have. There's your 12 by 24 inch mat. So you could do that. And then you can just hit OK. Then we've got recognition mode. You've got grayscale, or you've got color. So if you've got a colorful item that you are scanning and you want to be able to see the colors that as it scans, you'd hit the color. Our pieces that we're doing is just applique, so it's just black and white. So just doing grayscale is completely fine. That's all we need for that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK with that one. And then we're just going to go ahead and hit start. And it's going to slowly drag the paper in, and it's going to scan it. And remember, I had that little piece of paper hanging out on the edge of the mat. We don't have to worry about that because the Scan and Cut is reading that black line on the edge of the mat that has that little measurements. That's what it's reading. And so it knows when it reaches the 12 inches and it'll stop right there. So even though you have papers kind of hanging out on the end here, it's only going to read up to this 12-inch line. This is what it's reading, and that's why it's really important that you don't block this side here, because the machine is reading that line, making sure and taking the measurements along the way. Now, if you're using that 12 by 24 inch mat, and maybe your paper that you're scanning in is not 24 inches long, you can also tell the Scan and Cut not to scan the entire 24 inches, right? You can tell it, hey, my paper is only, let's say, 10 inches, you know, or whatever it is. Look on the bottom of your mat. So on this bottom side here, it has letters going across A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's got it both on the 12 by 12 inch mat and the 12 by 24 inch mat. And you can basically tell the Scan and Cut, hey, I don't have a huge piece that covers the entire mat. You don't need to scan the whole thing. You can just scan something. Maybe I have something that's 8 by 8 inches, right? So if it's 8 by 8 inches, it would be this letter D right here. And it has these little pictures here on the side that'll help you as well. And you can basically tell it, hey, I only have an 8 by 8 inch size, so it would only scan up to the 8 inches, right? It won't scan the entire mat. Now, why is that important? Because that's gonna, one, save you a little bit of time, right? So think about this whole big 12 by 24 inch mat. It's got to scan the entire thing. And my paper is only maybe 11 by 17. That saves me a little bit of time, and it'll stop at the 17 inches. And so it won't scan the entire thing here. So that helps a little bit here, especially if you're doing multiples of these and you're really pressed for time. Then yeah, tell it to just, this is what I have to scan, and this is what I want you to scan. Don't scan the whole thing. The other thing is when it's scanning this 24-inch mat, that long mat is going all the way across. So you better have that clearance on the other side of your Scan and Cut, because the Scan and Cut is going to drag the entire mat to the other side of your Scan and Cut. So make sure you have that clearance. You don't want it bumping the wall or having something in its way, because that'll distort it, and then you'll have to kind of start all over again. So, oh, Connie says, thank you for this tutorial. I didn't know about that, about the Scan and Cut measurements. You're welcome, Connie. I'm glad that I was able to help you. Yay. So yeah, it's got, you know, that really nice little layout. And let me pull the 12 by 24 so you guys can really see that a little bit here. Maybe we can bring this over to the desk cam. Let's see if this will help. Let's see. Not the desk cam. That's fine. We can do the overhead. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Okay. We're having a bit here. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to turn it this way so you guys can see this. So this is the bottom of the 12 by 24 inch mat. I'm going to try to hold it steady here for you. And you've got all the letters here, and you've got the measurements here. So if, let's say, I'm using this huge 12 by 24 inch mat, maybe this is the only mat I have. Maybe this was what I bought and I didn't buy the 12 by 12, but maybe I've only got a 4 by 6 little thing that I'm scanning. Maybe it's just like a little card or something. Then I have this right here, letter F, and you can see the little design here. They've got the white piece right here that represents the measurement. That's the 4 by 6 size. And then you have the black piece right here that's representing the actual mat itself. So you're basically telling it, hey, I've got this huge mat, but only scan the 4x6 inch size. That'll save you a lot of time, and the entire mat will not be going through your scan and cut. So that will help out, and all you have to do is select the letter F on the little wrench area so that you can see that. Okay, so that kind of helps a little bit, and I hope that helps you out on figuring out like sizes and things like that. It does save some time, and it also helps when you're dragging that mat across. Let's see, Mariana says, thank you for the info. Where do you enter the letters so it scans that area only? Okay, that's going to be the little wrench. So I can go back and I'll show you that again. But let me kind of, well, actually, let's go and we'll scan it again. So let's go back. We're going to do this one more time. So we're going to do scan to cut data. You see this little wrench right here? This is where you will basically identify the scan area and the recognition mode. So you hit that little wrench and you hit scan area. And this is where you're going to see all of the options here. So you're going to select, let's say I have 12 by 24. Let's just say I have that mat, right? Now I'm telling it, hey, this is the 12 by 24 inch mat that I'm using. And so then you would go ahead and hit OK, and you will scan. But let me go back a little bit and let me grab my little pencil. Let's go back here. See this wrench right here? We can say cut area. We can say 12 by 24 or 12 by 12, right? That's one area where you're telling it. And you can say, if I do 12 by 24, you see how the mat changes a little bit. So it's showing me what it's going to look like. So I'm associating my picture with the actual mat. And then I'm going to change it back to 12 by 12. So you see it's a lot shorter here, a little pungier, right? And then go ahead and hit OK. And then you can kind of scroll down and you see all your other options here as well. You've got your background on here. You can turn that on or off. You've got your cut speed. You've got the pressure. You've got all kinds of options under that wrench. You can do your half cuts. If you're doing your half cuts here, this is where you would turn it on or off. You've got, let's see, other options on here. Your speed, your pressure, seam allowance. This is another one that's pretty popular. If you are cutting, let's say you're cutting some fabric and you want to draw the seam allowance on the fabric so that you know where that 1/4 inch is, you can go ahead and do that. You don't have to do just a 1/4 inch. You have the option to change that to either 1/2 inch or 5/8 of an inch and so on and so forth. You can just kind of keep going. Okay, other options down here, the buzzard sounds. These are just if you don't want to hear the little beepings, right? Auto shutdown in an hour. These are just other settings that you have that really help out. And it's nice to kind of go through these. And I would suggest kind of going through your manual and just looking at some of these little options here, because it really does help you out to kind of know some of these things here. So those are all the options you have in your settings. So I'm going to go ahead. I think I had it at 12 by 12. Let's just go ahead and hit OK. And then on here, we'll go ahead and hit scan. Then we're going to do scan to cut data. And then here we have it at 12 by 24. So I'm going to hit the little wrench and I'm going to change that to 12 by 12. And OK. So we're back at 12 by 12 now. OK. And then we will hit start. It's going to go ahead and scan it again. And then once it scans all of that, then you have to make the decision as to, well, where do you want this scanned data to go to? Do you want to put it on a USB so you can carry it over and take it to your laptop? Or do you want it to just, if you have your Wi-Fi set up, and do you want to send it over to your Canvas workspace? And so you have either one, you have that option to do so. or you can also just save it to the computer itself here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my USB, but let's take a look at what it scans, because the first thing here, it's going to show you, this is what I scan, this is what I see on here. And so you see that beard is taking up most of the entire sheet, but we're also picking up like the little words here on the sides that we don't need. And I got just a piece of, I believe this is the hat itself. We only got the top piece of it, and we know that we're not going to need that. But we'll get rid of all that and clean all of that up in just a bit. So the first thing you need to identify is going to have 3 options up on the top. It's going to ask you, do you want to keep just the outside only? Do you want to do inside and outside? Or do you want to do region? We're going to do inside outside, because what that's going to do is going to basically find the lines that are inside the design as well as the outside. If we did outside only, it would only do this outer piece right here, and I wouldn't have the lines on the inside. So that's something that, you know, you'll have to decide depending on the project that you're doing and what's required. The best thing is, if you pick the wrong option and you send it over, and it'll show you the screen right here. If it's not right, just go back and do it again and then pick the other option. That's how you kind of learn. You really got to just kind of go in there and play with the buttons and figure out what these things are doing. So once we have this here, you also have other options on here. Do you want to make it darker, lighter? You can just keep it right in the middle where it is. I'm fine with where it is, so I'm just going to leave it there. And I'm going to go ahead, and I'm not going to be hitting this option here. We've played with this option before. This little squiggly line is really to smooth out the lines. So maybe you have some little jagged edges that it picked up and you want to smooth it. You can do that. But I'm going to go ahead and leave everything exactly the way it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. And it's going to say processing, and here's your 3 options. Do you want to save it to the scan and cut? Do you want to send it over to your Canvas workspace, or do you want to put it on a USB? I'm going to go ahead and say, put it on my USB. It's going to save it for me. I already have my USB in my scan and cut here, and so now it's going to go ahead and just save that for me. And then it'll tell you here, saved to USB media, and it gives you the file name. It just basically gives it a number. So this is U with a whole bunch of zeros and a 4. So just kind of make a little note of what the file name is. It does save it as a .fcm. So that's the file type that it is saving, right? So it'll save it as a .fcm. And just make a note that this is number 4. We're going to go ahead and hit OK. And that's it. It's done. It will take you back to this screen, and then you can just back out of this screen. And it's going to ask you, is it okay to delete the data? Don't panic on this one. You've already got it saved on your USB. You can go ahead and hit OK. And that'll bring it back to this screen here. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and grab my USB. Pull it out of your scan and cut, and now you're ready to just kind of go into Canvas workspace and play around with the design there. So let me see here. Let me move this up a little bit. And I'm plugging in my USB. Okay. Now, let me close these off. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into Scan and Cut. And you can see here on my screen, I've already kind of brought it in, but I'm going to bring it in again with you guys. So we're just going to move all of these over. So in order to bring this in, Scan and Cut saved the file as a .fcm. Okay, so because it's a .svn, the option that you want to use to bring it in to your Canvas workspace is this option right here. And you can see it says import svg DXF and FCM files. Those are the different file types that you can import into Canvas Workspace by selecting this particular option. Now, if you have other things that you are kind of trying to bring in, like a JPEG file, that's the option that you would be using for that would be an image tracing, okay? That would be able to trace the image of the file that you're bringing in, which would be like a JPEG, and it'll trace that image. That's a completely different piece. So some people get confused between the two. Just kind of hover over the little options here, and it'll basically tell you what file type you're able to import. So when you hover over that SVG, you can see these are the different file types that you're able to bring in. And so FCM is the file type that we have. And so that is the one that we're going to be bringing in. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll select SVG. Oh, it's not showing the pop-up screens. Let's see here. Krista says she needs to watch this again when the dogs are napping. It's like having a herd of toddlers when they're awake. Oh, Krista, that's funny. Cindy says, what's on my apron this morning? What's on my apron this morning? Well, I have our logo. I also have my little button. And this is kind of a little Hawaiian flower that they kind of gave out when my son was paddleboarding. And I thought it was really cute. So I just went ahead and put it on my apron for me. And I thought it was really neat. They were giving this out when they were doing their last competition for regionals. And they had like a little Hawaiian luau little surprise for the kids after their competition, and they gave out all kinds of little goodies, and they had a good little time there. So it was a lot of fun, and they were giving these out, and they made little leis and little flowers and things to give out to all the kids, and I thought it was pretty cool, and I thought it was very pretty, so I put it on my apron, and it's been there since. But you know, it's pretty nice to kind of bring stuff that reminds you of certain events. Okay. Oh, thank you, Robin. Yeah, guys, if you like the content, please give it a thumbs up for the information that I'm sharing. I appreciate that. Let's see here. So we're having a few issues showing the laptop here. I'm going to cancel this piece so that you guys could see it once it gets back up and running. The Hawaii flower, how special. Yeah, Cindy, I think it's really cute. You know, it's a little clip thing. It's got a little clip that you can clip. And so some of the kids, you know, put it on their hair. And I thought it was really cute. So I went ahead and I put it on to my little apron. Add a little color, right? It needs a little color sometimes, right? Just makes you smile. You know, those are the things that just kind of bring you a little light to your day. Let's see. Yeah, Becky can't show the pop-ups either. Yeah, but for Canvas Workspace, you'd think that one would work. I think it's the camera itself, but we'll see what Mr. H can do to help get us going here. You are an amazing mom. Oh, thank you, Faker McFaker. Appreciate that. We try really hard. Lots going on all the time, so we just try to keep it all together as best as we can. So let's see here. What else can I explain to you about this? Oh, so when you are scanning this, since we've scanned it the first time, right? We've already scanned it and we've saved it on our USB. Before you pull out the USB, you may want to flip the paper over and then scan it again to get the other side. Because remember, the 12 by 12 inch side is going to cut off just that top part of the hat. And so you won't be able to get the last two pieces that you need, which is basically the red piece here. And let me see if I can grab it so you guys can see that. It's basically it is the red piece that has the little tail, and then it's also the little hat band that goes on top. And mine kind of came in two. I think it's supposed to be one, but it looks like it popped off, which is fine. I can just kind of put it together. But it has that slit in between here. So those are the two pieces that need to be scanned. And when you turn that paper over, you're going to want to scan it. But then when you bring it into your Canvas workspace, you're going to want to rotate it so that it's, you know, kind of going the right way. And make sure that your little tail end with the curve here is going the same way that is indicated on the layout sheet. So the layout sheet itself has it going curving this way with the curve on this side right here. Okay, so if you scan it and the curve is going the other way, make sure that you flip it or maybe even mirror it if you need to get it rotated to the correct size. Okay. All right, so those are things that you have to kind of look out for when you are doing this step. There's a lot of little details when you are scanning something, putting it into Canvas Workspace, and then eventually get it to go to your embroideries. So looks like the camera's just not cooperating with us today. So, and I know we're running pretty low on time. So what we'll do, we'll try to see if we can fix these camera issues, and then maybe tomorrow we can kind of pick up after the scan. You pretty much saw the scan and cut part. So we'll pick up the part in Canvas Workspace tomorrow so you guys could see that. And then we'll look at the embroideries file itself tomorrow as well. Let's see. So it looks like, oh, it's working. He got it to work, and then we run out of time. That's okay. We will look at this again tomorrow. It's really not going to take much time once we have this ready to go. So not going to worry about that, but we will check this out tomorrow. So yeah, we've got it to work, but we'll go through the steps. But what I'll do tomorrow is I'll show you how it gets brought into Canvas Workspace, and then we're going to move over to embroideries, and you're going to see how we can make this turn into the embroidery file. Looks a little messy, but it does kind of work. Now, one word of caution on this: if you do not have a large hoop, this is not going to work. So I only have a 5x7 hoop. So I am doing the steps, but I'm not going to be able to embroider this because my hoop size is just not big enough on my machine. And I even tried using a repositional hoop to see if I can get it to fit, but it's not. It's just too small. So I'm just not gonna worry about that. So no, in case guys are asking, no, Becky is not going to be on today. She is not going to be on the rest of this week because she's on her little vacay. So, I know there's other YouTubers out there that are also, you know, giving content as well. So support other YouTubers as well, guys. Okay, so that's it. Sorry that the cameras just weren't cooperating with us today, but we'll pick it up again tomorrow. So no worries on that. We really don't have too much to do. Once we have this in Canvas Workspace and then we bring this over to embroideries, it's going to be so quick. And then all you have to do is send it to your embroidery machine. Now, because I can't use that large hoop, I'm going to go through the steps so that you guys who have those larger hoops are able to do it. But then I'm going to just go ahead and just use my sewing machine and do the blanket stitch. And I'll try to see if I can kind of maneuver the file to maybe just do the top portion of the Santa and get the embroidery machine to do that piece. And then maybe the beard I'll do on my own with my sewing machine. So got to work up to getting that bigger machine with the bigger hoop. But we're getting there, right? But it's really not too bad. And I will show you guys that tomorrow. Hopefully everything will be working and will be good to go. But sorry about that. I'm hoping that tomorrow will work a little bit better. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our inspirational quote of the day because I know we're running a little over on time. Okay, so today's quote of the day is, "The earlier a project begins, the more time there is to enjoy yourself and your family during the holiday season." And that is our goal, right, for our Christmas in July, is to get those Christmas projects going so that you can relax and enjoy your time with family and friends at the end, right? We're not just crammed in our craft room, running around trying to finish up things. So try to put the time in now so you can enjoy it later, right? Awesome. Yes, we get vacations, right? Faker big fake. Alrighty. Okay, so thank you guys all for tuning in. I really appreciate all of your support. I do have to go to get to my other job. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. Bye now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow. So long, my friends, till we craft once again.